Let's get down to brass tacks. What's going on? Welcome everybody to SMC. It's a Monday night. Coriander, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
All right. I'm doing good. And
All right.
I'm sure you're doing pretty good too. This is a continuation of what we did last night, which was pretty epic. We did a
Why was
watch
so
party.
close? Oh my god!
I wanted to get that vibe. Pretty epic. We did a live watch party of the original Friday the 13th with our good friend Michael from the Movie Bros and the Carbonite Jedi. It was gold. This was a watch party of watch parties. His reaction, it was like we saw it for the first time. I loved it. It was great. Tonight, we're going to be talking a bit about Friday the 13th and how we think it might have redefined horror forever. And we also want to get Michael's thoughts on seeing it for the first time. What did he think of it and so forth? And he'll be with us shortly. So real quick, we're going to say hi to the chat and get that situated. We appreciate you guys being here. Those who are here, we got Jerry in the house. What's going on, Jerry? Good to see you. We got RJ. What's up? Not one of my favorites. I think it's a bit overhyped. My favorites are Jason Goes to Hell and Jason Lives, maybe? I cut off for me. I hear that. And, you know, I definitely want to touch upon that because we heard a few folks in the watch party last night talk about that. And I've actually had my own thoughts on that as well. So we will touch upon that coming up shortly. Gory Tiger, what's going on? Paul is in the house. We got Gene. Gene is with us as always. Thank you so much, Gene. It's great to always have you here, and we appreciate the support. Helps us to do this. Hey, Gory B, what's going on, sis? Hope you're doing well. All right. Kay's in the house. We've got Shanta in the house. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Travis. All right. What's up, Travis? We got Carrie back with us. Good to see you, Carrie. The watch party last night was a blast. Michael's reactions were gold. Absolutely. There was no doubt about it. Oh my God. I was laughing so hard. I had a smile on my face pretty much for the whole time. It was crazy. What's up, Oliver? Good to see you too, bro. Hope you've been doing well. Coriander, let's kind of touch upon this a little bit. Once again, Michael will be with us soon. You know, life happens, guys. But Coriander, this is the OG. Yeah. What are your overall thoughts, your introductory thoughts on Friday the 13th?
I mean, for a slasher, this is everything. You know, you got your jump scares, your whodunit, everything. You know, the cast, it's good. So what the budget that they had, I thought this is excellent in the genre of slashers, and it was the birth of my favorite slasher, you know, icon. So Jason, yeah, I think it's a great installment. It's the beginning of it all, you know.
I think it's an underrated slasher film, number one, and it's definitely even underrated in the franchise. And I can even be guilty of that as well, because over the years, I've kind of moved it, up and down my rankings. If you guys were not around a couple of weeks ago, we did a huge ranking of the three major franchises: Elm Street,
Yeah.
Halloween, and Friday the 13th. So definitely check that out. Kill was with us as well. It was a blast. Um, but I will say, watching it last night, and I'll get more into it, especially when Michael gets here. But watching it last night, taking the time to focus on it, and plus the energy and some of the thoughts of someone who's never seen it. We even heard Michael say, "Isn't Jason supposed to be in this?" And I'm sitting there just smiling and so forth.
Yeah.
But just kind of slowing it down for myself as a lifelong fan since I was 7. The first
Mm.
horror film I ever watched. If it wasn't for Friday the 13th, I may not be here, doing horror on YouTube. But I
Mhm.
really thought they did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
$550,000 for their budget. The
Mhm.
idea was to quote unquote, rip off Halloween, ride the coattails of the success of Halloween. And in my
Mhm.
opinion, they did something different from Halloween. It's a total different aesthetic, totally different location. Um, Everything about it, they didn't. I could go into a big rant about that, but point
Yeah, you could.
yeah, yeah, right. The point being is I think that they were able to lean into something that was also very fresh, and that's the location of Camp Crystal Lake, that whole sense
Mhm.
of being alone and not having help when you need it, being in the dark, being in the woods. So
I mean,
watching.
as long as you know the woods and you're comfortable with it, not so much know, but if you're comfortable in the woods,
Mhm.
eh, it's nothing.
Hey man, I don't
You
know.
need
I'm
to
just
survive. You need to just survive.
well, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
And night is way better to survive because you could cover yourself with leaves. You could just hide, till the morning.
oh,
They'll be
there you
long
go.
gone, you
Right,
know?
yeah, he'll take all
Mhm.
day to get us like Johnny in A Violent Nature. Real quick, it's just to jump
Maybe.
jump back to the chat. Shanta said, "What did I
Mm.
miss last night?" It was a watch party of Friday
It
the
was
13th. We had a blast. You'll have to check out the replay. It was so much fun. It really, really was. And we've done a lot of
fun.
watch parties, but I'm
Yeah,
telling you guys, this one was definitely one of the all-timers. It really
yeah,
is. We got John in the house. What's going on? Friday 13th is my all-time favorite horror franchise, and then
yeah.
Scream. Well, John, as you know, and you've been around for quite a bit, and we appreciate you. You're in the right place at the right time, because this is
There you
definitely the
are.
the home of New Jersey. I mean, the big four, we love talking about all the big four and even other franchises, whether it's Final Destination, Saw, The Conjuring, and everything. But Friday
Mhm.
is the number one. Friday is the number
It
one.
is.
It really, really is. Chuck's in the house. Lindsay's
Hey.
in the house. Um, Carrie saying, I think a lot of franchises have a bridge installment for Friday. They just so happen to have the bridge installment in the beginning to introduce the true villain, which is Jason. It's a great way to
Mm.
word it. They built up the mythology. They had to build up the mythology.
Yeah.
That wasn't the plan. In the beginning, the plan was not having a hockey mask Jason,
Mm.
leading the
But thank
franchise.
God.
That's what they worked into. And I will say this, and I've said this before, but we always have new people in the chat. In my opinion, Friday the 13th is one of the only horror franchises, or one of the major horror franchises, in my opinion, that actually got better as it went along. You look at those first 4 films, and
Yeah.
in
I
my
mean,
opinion, they literally got better
they're
as far as the
all
mythology and what they were
yeah,
building.
yeah. But they're all great movies. They're
Yeah.
all enjoyable
Oh
movies.
yeah, no,
Even the ones
absolutely.
you don't like, you know you get some enjoyment out of it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I can watch them all. I
Yeah.
do watch them all, absolutely. Gory saying, I agree. The atmosphere, the nature shots, the jump scare at the end, they're amazing. It's so true. It really is. Kelly's in the house. Good to see you. T85's in the house. We got Nightfall coming in doing what he does, supporting the channel. Thank you so
Hey.
much.
Mhm.
Good evening, family. Love you all. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you and
Yeah.
hope that you're doing well.
Hollywood night.
We're
Mm.
talking about the OG, man. I mean, what more can you
Mhm.
ask for? Really,
You
really,
can't
really.
ask for
Thank you.
much more.
Right? Oliver saying this movie should be considered a standard for the whodunit movie. It was a rare
Mm.
movie where the twist was that the killer was female. It was a huge difference from other horror
Yeah.
movies. No, it's true, and it was
Mhm.
a great twist. I think that they did a hell of a job with it, and they really, to me, they also set up a lot of the tropes. Because here's the thing, and I didn't want to get too deep into it before Michael gets here, but I'll just tease it here. You know, Halloween was the major horror film to bring in the slasher. Okay, it was the major one. It had all the accolades, critical acclaim, the audience. At the time, it was one of the most successful independent, horror films, all that type of stuff. But
Mhm.
Friday the 13th was like a tank, that just ran with it. And like every horror movie that was a slasher followed Friday's formula, from 1980 to 84 or so.
Mhm.
There was so many slasher films, and they were all
Mhm.
trying to cash in. It was the golden age of the slasher, and I think it's because Friday the 13th tapped into something, and on Slasher Movie Club, Coriander, you know this as well as anyone, obviously,
Mhm.
we've watched a lot of films that tried to repeat that formula that Friday
Yeah.
did in
They
1980,
tried.
and it
Mhm.
just didn't work. We've seen
No.
films in the woods,
Yeah,
at
you
camp,
know, yeah,
and it just
Hobbit
doesn't come
feet.
close.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, Madman, you gotta love
Ah,
it.
no, you don't have to love
w
it. Oh my
we got
god.
we got
Mhm.
Mayan in the house. What's going on? Hope you
Hey.
hope you're doing well. Corey
Yeah.
says, Jason's the Santa of the woods. He knows if you be hiding. He knows if you're awake. He knows if you've been drinking and having premarital sex. So be abstinent for
Mhm.
goodness sake. That was good.
That's right. Yeah, that
Oh,
is
there
good.
you go. We got our brother from down under, Ginger Ninja. What's up,
Hey,
brother? Hope you're doing
nice.
well.
Mhm.
Hope you're doing well, brother. Shanta saying, "Oh man, I'll rewatch. Wish I could have been there." Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say this, guys,
That's the
and
great thing with YouTube, right? You can
yeah,
always rewatch it.
you got
So
replay,
and
and
it's free.
we've got tons of content
Yeah.
and watch
Um,
parties that are great.
mhm.
But I will say this, guys, in general, we try to stream on the same days, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and sometimes on Sunday. Sunday's usually our free day to maybe do things like a watch party. So I would just say, if you guys are able to, I know there's a lot of folks that watch a lot of different content and so forth, but if you stop by, the channel, even if it's in the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, you'll probably, see everything that we're planning to do. So we got Kyle in the house. What is up? Good to see you. 9 months,
Hey,
bro. We got the 9 months channel
nice.
member anniversary. Hey, Knight and
Willy Winnie.
Coriander. Cheers to 9 months as a member. Absolutely, man. We appreciate
Mhm.
you. Hope that you're doing well. And Chuck saying Friday the 13th was the first horror movie I've seen on VHS. Whoa, there you go.
That's
Very,
great,
very cool. Yeah. Now,
right?
guys, I also want to say, and we're gonna bring on Mike in a minute, because I think he just came in backstage. But I also have a cool little unboxing that I want to do, and this I'm really excited about. I haven't had a chance to do
What is
this
it?
yet, and I've been waiting. I've been salivating. Now, granted, we are talking
Oh,
about
yeah, I've been
we
looking at it every day. What is it?
it hasn't been that long, but we're talking about Friday 13th, and I just want to also just say, my good buddy Derek, who has a really cool store, online store, just for
Nice.
different, statues and horror goodness and so forth. I just want to give him his shout out because he actually sent this to me to check it out. And I
What
was
is
like,
it?
well, hold on, I'm trying to
Dude,
talk it up,
open it
man.
up. It's been like 2 weeks. No.
God, man. It hasn't been 2 weeks. No, seriously, let me just real quick, I just wanna say that, we got a lot of really cool, people in the community that do great things, but if you get a chance to,
Mhm.
you gotta check out my man, at Derek's Horror Stuff, City More Toys and Collectibles. I'm gonna put the link in the
Nice.
chat, and, also, if Mayan is here, if you could, like, put it out there a couple more times, because he was really kind enough to send this to me. And I was like, all right, man, I got to do this unboxing, on the channel live and so forth. So let me open this up. because Coriander is going to beat me up if I don't do it.
Oh, stop.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
If anything, I'll just, do some slap ass.
Slap it. I know. I love that. I love that super chat. Every time I play that super chat, I'd see you guys in the back going, "Oh man, what the heck?"
No, I'm like, oh yeah, because all I do is just think about that sweet ass. No.
Oh jeez. All right. So look, guys, this is I know everyone's gonna love this because obviously we're all horror fans. And I saw this and I was like, okay, that's the one, man. That's the one I want to go with. All right. Ooh, I also got some stickers in here. Oh my gosh. All right, he sent me some goodies. I'm excited, man. All right. Oh yeah. And I love these.
Nice.
It's Ghostface.
That's awesome.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. All right, hold on, because I said to him, I said, look, I know that I can because I've got a couple of things back here. I've got my Michael. I've also got the Friday the 13th box.
There's room.
There is room. That's what I told Derek.
Yeah, there's room.
All right, so hold on here. Man, this is wow, this is packaged up real good. Hold on one second. Let me get this open here.
My phone's acting like it's almost gonna kick me out. So if I disappear, it's not because I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I've got a whole bunch of tape.
Damn. Do you need scissors?
No, I've got scissors. This thing was ready to go overseas.
Wow.
But no, I mean, I appreciate that because then it's not going to get damaged. Yeah, right. Boy. Here we are. This is awesome, man. Look at this. Man, even...
I can't.
Well, hold on, because it's a bobblehead. Even got the neck wrapped up. This thing was ready.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so friggin' cool. Oh my God.
That'll look so good next to Michael.
I know, right?
And it'll fit up there too. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Nice. What are the stickers? That's what
I know. That's what I'm gonna look at too. Derek, thank you so much, man. Much love to you, brother.
Yeah, those
but
are
definitely
awesome.
Check out his online store. This is cool. We got a Billy.
Nice.
We got some other stuff. This is so cool, man. We got a jigsaw.
Oh, that's cute.
With a saw. You gotta love that.
That's cute.
Man, that is so cool. Thank you so much, brother. Much love to you. And like I said, guys, I got the link in the chat. He's actually got another thing that I was eyeing, and I was like, bro, I appreciate you sending this to me. But I'm also going to be checking out something else that I saw that I've never seen anywhere. And it's another great horror figure.
Well, maybe we should right? You're not going to say what it is.
Well, no, I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just throwing it out there
like
that.
It's like, don't say it.
Right. Yeah, May, this is awesome.
But yeah, so good.
I've got the link in the chat. Let's have you guys definitely check it out. Show some love to Derek. He's a cool dude. He's on Instagram as well. I follow him. So yeah, no doubt. It's some cool stuff. And May, if you could post that link again a couple more times. We got Ronan in the house. What is up?
Hey.
Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to have you here. Lamar's in the house. We got the whole crew.
Hey, Lamar.
Charmello. Wow. All right. Oliver saying, I'm drooling. I have to check to see if they have a Billy and a John Kramer. Check it out, man. He's got a lot of cool stuff. And, whenever you have, a friend or a fellow content creator that has, this type of, skill and capability, it's always a cool thing. It's really cool. And it is badass, Carrie. It is very cool. And man, thank you guys. Much appreciated. It is, like I said, I got it right here next to my Michael, so I'm really psyched about it. But you know what else I'm psyched about? And thank you, Gory. I appreciate that. I'm also psyched about the person that we're going to be bringing on. We got backstage. We had a
All
blast
right.
last night doing a watch party that I think is absolute gold. Let's bring him on right now. You guys know him as the Carbonite Jedi. May the Force be with you. Here he is, Michael. What's up, man?
Hey, sorry about the delay.
No problem at all, man. No problem at all. We're glad you could make it.
Yeah.
You know, we started to say hi to the folks in the chat. Obviously, anyone that was with us last night was absolutely enthralled with your reaction. First time ever seeing Friday the 13th. You were asking all the right questions. You were like, hey, isn't Jason in this? The hockey mask? Where is that? And I'm just sitting there with a smile, and I'm just like, doop, 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 doop. I don't want to give it away. Let's start with you. What did you think of the film?
When it first started off, back in the 80s, I guess this was kind of like the first serious, horror film, I don't know, that I remember. I don't really remember. I mean, they had some really, really cheesy, like scary movies and stuff, but
yeah,
nothing like this, that I remember. But when it first started, the dialogue, it was killing me. The dialogue was killing me. The cheesiness of the guy, who was like, "Beware Camp Blood. Don't go to Camp Blood.
You're doomed."
Yeah. But I mean, the murder scenes were like fantastic. I mean, they did a lot to where it left a lot to the imagination, and that's your mind is your worst enemy when it comes to that, because it gets out there. So I thought that the scenes where they died, especially when that girl got her neck sliced.
Yeah,
the first one, that girl right there.
Annie.
That tweaked me out. Poor Annie.
It did. The look on your face, man. I was like, my poor brother here. I'm feeling bad, but at the same time, it was so much fun.
Were you though? I don't know if you felt bad.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It's nice of you to say.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, this is a film that I think the magic of it is the location. The way they try to craft this whole mythology. It's jinxed, it's cursed, they closed it down, it had fires and people got killed, don't go there, and it's in this place where it just seems so far removed from reality. Even when I was a kid, 7 years old, and watched this, it felt like it was just a time long gone, which sounds weird, but back then, and we talked about it, and Coriander and I have talked about it many times, it's like the perfect time period because you don't have cell phones. You don't have, pay phones every 15 minutes. You don't have cameras and traffic lights and all these,
even cable
things. You don't have cable.
To get cable out there is probably really hard.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. She's at a cemetery. She might as well be on the moon, It's crazy. Hope, New Jersey. Yeah. Thank you so much. There's not a lot of hope in that picture.
You got to remember some lakes are like that. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
No, that's true. That is so true. But I think that all of that was building up this story. And as people are getting aced out, it was kind of like, wow, how can they survive this? That was kind of the feeling I had as a kid. And even rewatching it last night for the 800th time or whatever, since I was a little boy, I started to feel that again. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, this is really, really bad. So
that's just because of you, Michael, too, where it was your first time and all those fresh reactions. It was like, I felt like, wow, this is great because it was, you made it really special. So thank you. No, thank you.
No doubt about that.
Well, I thought that to like put more on what you were just saying, I think that, them actually being out there, like him working on that stump right there, or, they're working on the gutters, and they made it more realistic to the viewer, to where you become more enthralled in it, instead of just like useless dialogue.
Yes, that you're absolutely right, because what I was saying just before we brought you on, I mean, we've watched a lot of slasher films from that time period that tried to emulate Friday the 13th, some that were even in the woods or at camps or whatever, and almost all of them never reached that same level. And I think part of it is because, in other words, maybe they tried to run before they could crawl. You know what I mean? They were focused on trying to do jump scares, but we never really got a sense of the place. Like in this film, and Coriander, tell me what you think. This might be the one film in the franchise, and there's 12 movies in the Friday the 13th franchise. We can't really count Jason X because that's in space, but it does have a scene in a fake Crystal Lake. But this is probably the movie that has the most ambiance as far as location. Look at this. You get a sense of the woods, how big it is, how vast it is, how remote they are. And I think it probably does it better than any other film in the Friday the 13th franchise. What do you think, Coriander?
I agree, because the other films, they're more shot at, they're at the cabin, and they might go in the woods a little, but not like this. Right. I mean, you're going, well, maybe 2 might have a little. They go into town, they kind of, but not like this. Yeah, totally not like this. So,
yeah. I mean, and part of that too might have been also because they had to, right? $500,000 for the budget, first time out. It's a concept that they were trying to, ride that wave that Halloween had started in '78. So they had to, they had to show the location. They had to kind of have those moments where the characters, like you said, Michael, we're chopping down the stump and all that type of stuff. We're killing a snake in a cabin. Who does that? If you try to do that today, everyone's going to be like, who gives a shit about this snake? You know what I mean? But it built character moments for this movie. It was kind of like one of those cheesy moments. They're all getting scared and ripping apart the cabin. It's like, bro, the snake is right there. Just take care of it. So I do think that this film was really, I mean, look, we have a scene where they're just hanging out on at the end of the dock. They're not trying to rush through anything. And again, part of that could be limitations of the time and the budget, but I think it works for the film and gives it its charm, which to me, I could still feel that charm watching it last night with you guys, so.
Oh, yeah.
It's great stuff. Great stuff. Real quick too in the chat. I mean, look at that. That's a beautiful shot. I know it sounds cheesy, but there were so many shots that I thought, man, it is such a great.
Like, I'm looking out my window,
It's just awesome. You know what I mean? It really, really is. Gory B saying Adrian King is so cool. These days she makes Crystal Lake wines that you can get online. That's right. She also narrated the book by Grady King, The Final Girls Support Group. She is an amazing lady. And like I said, when we met her, man, I was just so in awe. I really was. And she's so humble and kind. She really is. But let's move forward a little bit too. Coriander, let's go to you, and then we'll go to Michael.
Why are you going to me? Yeah. Okay.
Well, because I started with Michael before, and I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts as well. Okay. When we start to see, these kids being taken out one by one, what were your thoughts? Like the first time you watched it, were you, trying to figure out who the killer was? Because Michael was last night. He was like, well, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person. Who's left?
I was, I don't know, probably my oldest age, like 16, when I was, maybe even 15, when I really sat down and saw this movie. And I wasn't like the one that tried to figure things out. I just sat there, and like you sometimes, and you take my pulse. It's like, dude, whatever, It's just how I do things. I don't know. Yeah. And, I don't even know what the fuck was your question again.
Well, no, I was just wondering what you thought as people were being killed. which you answered. But let me just say something real quick with this
Great.
image. Last night was the first time I had ever noticed this. I've watched this film hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times since I was a little kid. This is the first time I ever noticed this, guys. You tell me. In this image here, you can see Pamela. It's really quick. It's like
but you know what?
a split second, but that's Betsy Palmer.
You got to let these people know that we were watching the box set that, really cleared the picture up. If you were watching this any other way, I don't think you would have caught that.
Maybe not.
Like, I don't think so, because I never caught that. She was not that clear.
No, I agree. But not only that, but if it's the first time you're seeing it, like Michael, you don't know who that is anyways. You're not
well,
really
no, but when you know, right. And you knew. So it's a good thing Michael didn't really see.
I know. When this scene came up,
been like, who the hell's that bitch? Well, you probably wouldn't have said that, but
he definitely wouldn't have said that. But when this scene came up, I looked over at you and I was like, holy crap. I can see Pamela. It's like a split second. But I'm geeky like that.
I was right there with you, geek.
Yeah. Hey, look, we got Carrie saying, I thought it was a crazed, disgruntled kid from the camp. I wasn't wrong. Laugh out loud. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, I thought it was one of the counselors. That's what was going through my mind as a kid. Gory saying it's a great slasher, not the best whodunit. I don't think the movie provides enough clues for anyone to guess who the killer is. And that's true. At the end of the movie, you're like, okay, who are you? And of course, but I think, and Carrie was saying it's not a typical whodunit. I agree with you, because at the end of the movie, when Alice runs into her, she's like, well, she even says it. She's like, who are you? And then that's when you get the big, I'm Mrs. Voorhees and so forth and so forth. So it's a really interesting film. And I think even amongst its own franchise, I think it's underrated. Michael, I guess what I want to ask you is if you were to give it a rating, based upon, and I know you haven't watched a ton of slashers, but knowing that it's from 1980 and so forth, taking all that into account and obviously your watch of it last night, what would you give it out of 5?
Well, it kind of like when I rate stuff, I rate it when it leaves me thinking of different scenarios and things that are going on. I would probably give it a 4.
Ooh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the dialogue at the first wasn't the best, but I mean, these people run around and they're getting picked off, and then at the end, the main thing that got me, and I'm trying to put a square peg in a round hole in this whole thing, is when the girl was saying the boy pulled her under the water. Did they get the boy or whatever?
Yeah.
Attacked me. So was he always there? Was he the second killer, or was this all in her mind, or or was Mrs. Voorhees possessed by her son, and when she died, it released him and he came to life? I don't know.
It's
a lot of ways you can look at it.
Right?
I mean, I think the beauty of the ending of it, we're jumping around, which is fine. I think the beauty
crap out of me too.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for that jump. It's the top 10 jump scare of all time. It truly is, and I was salivating, waiting for that moment. I told Coriander, I muted it, and I told Coriander, I said, once she kills Pamela, we've got to act like that's it. We can't even act like there's anything else, because it could give it away.
But I was hoping you wasn't going to miss it, man. Like looking away, doing something. So
right. Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's over. I'm done.
Yeah. And then wait a minute, what did I miss? You missed it, Michael.
That would have sucked. Yeah.
I would have made sure. I would have said, hey, I would have said something to bring your attention back to it.
Look at the lake. Look at the leaves floating there. No.
Yeah, I was
makes you
pretty
want to go
locked into
fishing.
the movie. I wasn't probably going to move till it was done.
Well,
So
what was
Mhm.
beautiful too about that jump scare is that they drew it out for so long with that really great music. And to be quite honest, the fight that she had with Mrs. Voorhees was so
Yeah.
extended that by the time she was in the boat on the lake, she was exhausted. And I think as a viewer, you're like, okay, finally, the lady's dead. The cops were coming to the edge of the lake, so you felt safe. That was really the first time I know as a kid when I watched it that I felt safe. I'm like, okay, you got a couple cop cars, we're good. She's not that far out, from where they are. And they kept
Mhm.
playing the music, and the way Adrian as Alice played it, she would just had this look on her face like, thank God. And then all of a sudden, bam, he jumps out of the water. And like you said, was it all in her mind? Was there a possession thing? Was he always in the lake? And the movie was not meant to have a franchise or a sequel.
yeah.
It was meant to end like that so we could have this type of conversation, and we still can to a
And
degree,
if you
but
think
now.
about it, right, when you die tragically,
Mhm.
usually your soul or your spirit, whatever, hangs out, So yeah, he was there,
Mhm.
he's always there.
Well,
So
when at the very end the chief said, my guys pulled you out of the lake.
Yeah.
mhm.
So she must have been dreaming or halfway like in and out of it,
Something.
because she was
Right.
in the boat when she saw the police officers come up to the edge of the
Yeah.
lake. So was she in the water and she was dreaming that, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
No,
mystery.
it's a very, as much as some people, especially now, we're talking the
Mm,
movie is going to be 50 years old soon. Um,
that's crazy.
so some people might poke fun at it and say
It's a day old for me.
yeah, well, there you go. I know, right? It's a fresh take. But some people may look back on it and say, "Oh, it's cheesy, they don't have Jason in it yet, and blah blah blah." But I think the film is fairly
Mm,
intelligent for what it was aiming to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's very I was also saying this too. It's very well shot. The camera work was really good. It was nice wide shots. It made you feel like you were there at Camp Crystal Lake. The practical effects, this was Tom Savini doing the
Mm,
practical effects, and Tom Savini is obviously one of the greatest
awesome.
practical effects wizards of horror of all time, and he did
Yeah.
some great stuff in this film. Those kills looked really good for a time
Mhm.
when you didn't have CGI and stuff like that. So um real quick too in the
Yep.
chat, just to catch up with these guys for a little bit. um
Mm.
Carrie was saying, I personally believe when Mrs. Voorhees is killed by Alice, Alice is in the lake. It awakens Jason. Her spirit resurrects him to avenge and terrorize Crystal Lake. Well, there you go. All
Yeah.
right. Gory B saying R.A. Lehman, who plays the young Jason, says that he believes Jason's body is awoken the moment his mother's blood hits the lake. He told Kevin Bacon that, and Bacon thought it was hilarious. Oh, there you go. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's become like a urban legend type of
That's the
thing.
thing. He's been dead this whole freaking time.
Well,
You
the
guys
great
just like, he was killed. He was killed in this movie, dude. Oh my God. Just because, yeah, his dead body at the moment got whatever. He's still fucking dead. Just saying.
Dude, Kill is not even here to
I know.
rebut that.
I wish he
I know.
was.
I
Dang
know,
it.
I know. We've had so many conversations about it.
Ah,
It's good stuff.
yeah.
We got Hollywood guy coming in, $5
Hey,
super chat.
Hollywood
Thank you
guy.
so much, man. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Say, hey guys, what's up? Michael, good to see you again. Looking back, is this the only slasher that a mother was the serial killer? I don't recall any other.
Well,
Hmm.
the opposite was Psycho, right?
Yeah, it was the opposite. And that's
Mhm.
man, you're hitting it, Michael, because
Mhm.
Victor Miller, who wrote it, that was part of his whole process. He was trying to flip it from Psycho.
Oh,
And of
really?
course, they take a lot of cues from Psycho, including the music, so they were trying to flip this whole thing from Psycho, which they did. I think that as far as slashers, at least back then, I mean, I think this is one of the
Yeah,
few.
back
There,
then.
there were other
It's like
movies
now
where
there's, yeah.
there were
There's
other
been mother
movies.
killers.
Yeah, I mean, there were other movies that were, but I don't think not necessarily slashers that I can remember of.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Maybe
think.
Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, which is technically a slasher, I guess. That mother was crazy and she was a killer. But it was,
Mm,
the vibe of that movie was a little bit
yeah.
different, so to speak. But good question, Hollywood guy. It definitely is. I think that this movie obviously it to me redefined horror because now you had this template. We saw all the tropes played out in here. Tripping over thin air, the
Yeah.
final girl, we had the car didn't start.
Yeah.
Let's
The
not stick
sex.
together. What was
Yeah.
that?
They had sex
They had sex. That's right.
Drugs.
twice in the 50s
Drugs.
and 80s.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Alice was studious and she did not fool around. When Steve Christie was making the moves on her, she was kind of like,
Was she doing drugs though when they were doing Monopoly? Did she toke
I don't,
some
I
coke?
don't, I don't
Was she
remember.
toking or what? I don't
I
know.
don't
I can't
remember.
remember, but
Oh, and
Good
Steve
question.
Christie, when he got in the van, said he'll be right back.
Yes,
there
good call.
you
Those
go.
are the rules. Corey
Mhm.
B saying my take is that Jason never died. His mother saw him and thought it was his ghost since she does hear his voice. No one talks to him, so he stops talking and learns how to survive in the woods. Okay, the killer in
Mhm.
Deep Red is the mother of the person that is initially believed to be the killer. That is true. Deep Red, Argento. Good call. Yep.
And
Deep Red is a great one.
mhm.
1975 too. It
He's still
predated
dead, man.
um it predated Halloween. Yeah. Yep. But again, this movie, I think it did a lot of great things. And when you have that finale, they went at it. They went at it. Betsy Palmer was really slapping Adrian King. They had to tell her to you got to pull back a little bit. We're not really making the hits. And Betsy was she
She
was
just
ready to get
like
down.
she just liked, beating this girl up.
She did, man. It was a
Right?
great cat fight. Look at the look on her face, man.
Yeah,
She was
man.
fantastic in this role. She
I
really
mean, who
was.
wouldn't want to play a role like this? Honestly,
Well,
I'd do it.
she also grew into loving this
Mhm.
role because when she took it, it was more of those types of things where, okay, you're offering me this role. She didn't really think that highly of the film,
Mhm.
as it was. Because again, slashers were not a thing back then. Today, if you give an actress, this type of role, not only would she probably jump at it, but she would have more respect for it because horror movies in general have more respect. They've been proven to be commercially viable, and the fan base is just crazy. You see all these conventions where these actors and actresses are given their just due, for
Mm.
playing even a role that as small as this, where you're in the last, whatever, 15 minutes of the film, you're legendary for decades after you do this job. So she definitely grew into it, and she did appreciate her fans, and was very kind to her fans, obviously as she got older and the franchise went obviously, into Jason territory.
Mm.
Let me ask you this too, Michael. Now, obviously, Friday the 13th is a totally different type of film. Well, I don't want to say totally different type, but it's a different film than things like what we talked about last night, like Event Horizon, or even something like Scream, and so forth. Do you think that this type of film could be made today? Is this a product of its time? Or do you think that, this type of film, the way it was designed and so forth, could be made today and be successful?
I think a lot of the films that they have today are trying to catch that magic, trying to
Mm,
catch the magic in the bottle.
yeah.
And it's just, you know, there's just something about the movie where I don't know if it's because it was the first of its kind like this
Yeah.
or what, but you have the actors and the situation and like you talk about the location and everything. And I think that I don't know. I think that in today's movie making, I mean, some of them do things that are well, but they probably kind of miss the point, miss the spot where, or miss the mark, I should say, miss the mark of how to make something like that in today's movies. Because, you know, I'm going to draw from the Star Wars reference. I think The Phantom Menace would have been a lot better if George Lucas would have not used so much CGI. You know, he would have gone back to his roots and used like real stuff instead of, you know, all computer generated stuff. And I think a lot of the movies today are pulling too much from CGI and from, you know, going back and brushing stuff up. It's not authentic to me. You know? And this was authentic. I mean, there was no brushing up on anything. You know, you're hiding in the dark, you know, scooching around the corner, and, you know,
dirty bathrooms, dirty sinks.
Exactly. And that's so realistic to me. And I miss that about movies, is the realism, you know? So no, I mean, unless somebody went back to the roots and they're like, hey, you know, we're going to do something, and they could, you know, they could absolutely do it on a $500,000 budget, you know? You know? So, I mean, if they would just take the time to do it right and not rely too much on technology, I think they could do something fantastic. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
No, it did. No, it definitely did. No, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Coriander, let me throw this out at you as well. You know, when we think about the Friday the 13th franchise, do you think it's, you know, when we talk about the big three, Elm Street, Friday, Halloween, and, you know, if we say big four, you know, Scream goes into there as well. To me, that's undoubtedly the Mount Rushmore. I don't think anyone, I mean, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. Don't get me wrong. You know, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, people can mention other things, and there's newer franchises, obviously, like The Conjuring and Saw and Final Destination. But as far as the reach through the decades, I don't think there's any other franchise that can touch those four. Putting Scream aside, because that was a lot later, that was almost 20 years later. With the big three, would you?
Yeah.
Do you think Friday the 13th is the most important of the big three, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, for me, it is, because, you know, I knew what Friday. Okay, this is how I'm going to say it to you. When people know, okay, well, not everybody, but when I first saw any sort of Michael Myers movie, it was part 3, where I had no clue Michael existed. Okay, no clue. Jason, a Friday the 13th movie, I know, because usually because my brother, he always would, because whenever Friday the 13th would come around, he'd be watching it, and, you know, he'd leave his door open so I could go down the hall, take a peek in. And like I said, I'll always remember that when he's on the bus. And I was like, what the hell is he watching? You know, and it just always piqued my interest. And I asked him, he's like, Friday the 13th. And you know, Jason and Friday the 13th. The first movie, yeah, you don't have him. But I didn't, you know, I didn't know that I could correlate Jason and Friday, where if you ask me, Michael Myers, who the hell is that? You know, I would have had no clue back then.
So, fair enough. Well, I personally think, and I know some of you guys in the chat have given your ideas, but I'm gonna say I think Friday the 13th was, you know, as important as either Halloween or Elm Street, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Halloween was never meant to be a franchise. I mean, neither was Friday, neither was Elm Street. But what I'm saying is, Friday the 13th ushered in, you know, that golden age of slashers. I mean, like, we're talking about dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens. Anybody with a camera and a couple $1,000s was trying to make a slasher film in the early 80s because of Friday the 13th success. Halloween, as a film, was much more psychological in nature, which is, you know, also why it's so highly regarded. And I feel as though Friday the 13th had kind of gotten all of these people involved with horror so much, these other films. And then, of course, you have Wes Craven coming in 1984 with Elm Street. And then all of a sudden, Elm Street has a new way of doing things, with the dreamscape and all of that. Robert Englund with the ultimate charisma and so forth. And then Halloween says, we got to bring Michael back. We tried things with Season of the Witch and we screwed up. We got to have a boogeyman. So they come back. And so, all these three franchises were kind of pushing each other like good competition should do. But I don't know if you get to that point if Friday the 13th didn't blow open the door for that golden age of the slasher film. At that time, Friday the 13th was so consistent as far as, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and then of course in 84 you had Elm Street, and then Elm Street went to a whole nother stratosphere as far as popularity and box office success. But again, I think you have to thank Friday the 13th for blowing open the doors to that. Michael, how does that sound to you? I know you're not big into those films, but does that track, or do you have a different take on that you might have?
So just seeing what I watched this evening, or last night, I think that Steve made me watch Halloween. So, in Halloween, you know who the killer is.
Right.
It's like totally different. I think that with those two, Elm Street and Halloween, you know who the killer is. I mean, in this first one, Friday the 13th, you have no clue. It's
right.
It's Jinx, Camp Blood. You don't know what's going on. So, yeah, I think that maybe it was a jump ahead of the other two as far as horror and scare, and it probably was the one that is number one in the ratings. So I guess that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's cool hearing, the perspective, obviously, because like for you, it's the first time you saw it last night. So getting that perspective from you, like I said, it's almost like we get a chance to relive it and reassess it from a different perspective. But yeah, the first film, it totally was a deviation from what, a lot of the other films were doing and so forth. And eventually, Jason does become the front and center of the franchise. But even with that, it kind of, took it in a little bit of a different direction than a Michael Myers or a Freddy Krueger. They were all unique in their own way. But to me, I just think, it's almost like Friday the 13th was like the engine. You know what I mean? It's like it was like really pushing horror into a position where, again, a lot of people made horror films at that time because of its success. So, but anyways, Coriander, any final thoughts for you for this classic that obviously you have a great love for as well?
I mean, I've seen this movie, I don't know, I can't even count how many times. And I can continue to watch it probably till the day I die. So this to me is one of those perfect movies that it's going to stand the test of time, at least in my eyes. And so far it has, at least I think. So yeah. And yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great slasher.
It really is. It really is. I mean, I think it has all the great elements. And like I said, at the end, and she said it to us when we met her at the convention, she said that line where she's like, well, then he's still out there, and it's like, oh man, that lady was absolutely fantastic. But it's a really great movie. And I think it's highly underrated as a slasher and even in its own franchise. Coriander, real quick too, before well, actually, no, I'll ask you that later. What we usually do at the end, Michael, and for you guys in the chat, definitely let us know what you think. We kind of give it our badge of approval. All right. So we've got different levels. We've got 4 badges, which means we think it's a classic, it's fantastic, It's the type of film that you should have on physical media if you're a collector of physical media. We've got 3 badges, meaning we think, yeah, it's pretty good. We've got 2 badges, meaning we could take it or leave it. If we never watch it again, who gives a crap? And then, of course, we have our dreaded 1 badge, meaning that it is absolutely pitiful. It's horrible. Don't watch it. We call this type of movie dark territory, aka the movies Student Bodies, aka Blood Cult, aka Goodnight God Bless, and aka Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Those were some of the movies that really sucked that we watched in the slasher movie club. That's right. Coriander, how many badges would you give Friday the 13th from 1980?
Oh, this is 4. Easily.
Okay, you're going with 4. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Michael, what do you think? What would you do? Would you go with 4, 3, 2, or 1?
Well, seeing as I haven't seen any other ones except for Jason X, I reserve the right to change it later on, but I'll give it a 3. But I want to watch a couple of the other ones, and if I feel like it, I could change it to 4.
Okay. You know, and I'll touch back on what you just said there in a second, Michael. For me,
I heard it.
This is easy. This is easy street for me. I'm going with a 4. This is the movie that got me into horror, guys. And as cliche as that sounds, as much as it's nostalgia bait, I still enjoy this movie so much. And last night I really watched it through a little bit of a different lens, which really amazed me. It truly amazed me. I was saying it to Coriander as we were watching. I'm like, man, wow, just like wow. So I absolutely love this film. It's a fun one. It still holds up. $500,000. You know what the drill is. Gory B is going with 4 badges. Scott is going with 4. Mayanne is going with 4. You guys know what channel you're at. You guys are all right.
She's in the right place.
Right? Night Falls at Friday 13th, 1980 is 4 badges all day. There you go. Carrie said, 4 badges all the way. I hold this pretty high because it's among the iconic horror films in horror history. There you go.
That's
and man,
right.
thank you again, man, for putting the link in for Derek. Seriously, City Morgue Toys and Collectibles. It's really cool. Check it out, guys. Derek is also on Instagram, so if you're following me on Instagram, you can connect with him there. And if you need any help, Oliver, I know you were talking earlier, let me know and I can get you hooked up and in contact with Derek. He's really cool. And Derek, again, bro, thank you so much for this ghost face. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, it looks great.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you got the knife and everything. This is awesome stuff, man. And he sent this to me out of the kindness of his heart. So I don't want to take that lightly. It's very cool. This horror community is amazing, guy. It really is. Okay, so guys, we gave our badges. There's a lot of 4s, but Michael said something that I'm going to go back to, and there's no pressure, none at all, because
I heard it.
We absolutely love you. You know that, and the door is always. You never have to ask to come on. You never have to ask. You're always welcome. But we also had Carrie in the chat saying too, I hope Michael will be watching more of the Friday 13th movies with us. So is that a possibility? Again, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, and there's no pressure, but is that a possibility at all?
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I mean, like I said last night, it's a lot easier for me to watch it in a group setting, than it would be, which I would probably never do by myself. So
right.
Here's a question for you, Michael. How did you sleep last night?
Well, my little girl came in, so it was kind of rough.
All right. Yeah. Well, no nightmares in between.
No, not with.
Oh, good for you.
Slap it in his face. Yeah.
I know how that was. I had my youngest used to sleep with me till she was like, I don't know, 7. And oh my God, she'd be sideways and feet in the ribs.
Backwards.
And it's like, oh my good God, this has to end.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Real quick too in the chat, Gory Tiger also going with 4 badges.
Nice.
And Carrie, thank you so much. I checked out Derek's site, and there is some really cool stuff on there. I told you.
Nice.
I told you. Yeah, check it out. Thank you guys so much. And Carrie said everyone should check it out. Mayanne also putting Derek's IG right there, so definitely check him out. Tell him Knight sent you, and he's got some cool stuff. He really does. And Oliver's saying, I live in Canada. Do you ship here? I'm not sure if he does or not, Oliver, but I can ask him. I will. And let's see who else. I wanted to make sure I caught up with everyone. All right, I think I have. So guys, that's all we have for Friday the 13th. The good news is that, Michael was saying, hey, I wouldn't mind to go back to New Jersey and check out some more of these. I know for me, as a fan of these movies and have seen them so many times, I am so hyped up with the possibility that Michael will get the chance to see at least the next couple and kind of get that flavor of how it becomes what it becomes.
Yeah, 4 and then what, 7? And then who cares? No.
Yeah. Right?
But those are the ones that we have to watch.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. All right, guys. Well, look, we're going to head out of here. As always, we appreciate you hanging out. We had a whole bunch of people here tonight. It's always good to see. We're so happy to be able to be doing Slasher Movie Club again. And, we can't do it without you guys. We wouldn't do it without you guys. So thank you for the support. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. If you haven't subscribed to the Carbonite Jedi, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You do not want to be out of balance with the Force. Make sure that you guys support our brother. And we are very excited, to, set up some times in the future where he can join us again and also watch some more Friday 13th. What's better than that? It's like awesome. It's really, really cool.
We got to send him some of the Schwartz.
No. What? What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Come on.
May the Schwartz be with you.
That's
exactly.
Right. Schwartz. Michael, we'll see you in the backstage in a second. For the rest of you guys, have a good night. We appreciate you so much. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Up